Also, this does not seem right. It's like, oh, there's the house. There's the house. All right, everybody. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Manor Lords with me, Spacefish. And welcome back to our beautiful little fish haven. As you can see, not really too snowy anymore, to be honest. And well, also already done with the upgrade of the Burgage plot, it appears. We left off here in the last episode with this thing, I believe, still going. So seems we missed the completion of that, but that Burgage plot is now completed, and well, we are waiting for the next one, it seems. We are back. We are pretty much in the middle of getting our first Burgage plots to level 2 in order to go and get our settlement to the next level. And with that comes a whole host of new topics for us to tackle, because of course there will be all kinds of things now required on top by those settlers that are living in these homes. You can see right here, the church, we need to upgrade it. We also need to supply more stuff to people in the clothing stores. So not just the cloth itself, but actually the clothes. And we have the task of supplying people with some ale in a tavern, which we will also need to tackle, because there's going to be harvesting we need to take care of there, and there is also going to be production that we will have to set up for the purpose. So lots of stuff to keep in mind on that end. The fields here, well, they are growing. They look a little weird, not gonna lie. I hope that all is fine, because they seem to be sort of, you know, only growing in parts. So I hope that's just due to the time of sowing, and not that there was some update in the meanwhile since the last episode that messed things up. But we will find out in due time, I believe. Also, this does not seem right. It's like, oh, there's the house. There's the house. There's the settlement level, actually. And that is the construction finished, which is lovely. Now, before we go and just jump straight to the next thing, first and foremost, I would like to know, okay, we do have lots of timber. We also have the forester's hut here, of course, that we did set up the last time. And we do now have people working away, so hopefully we get to reforest things a bit. But first and foremost, my concern would be a little bit what we still have, if we have anything still in the building queue. Our generic storage appears to be full. Communal oven. Oh yes, we were also building that because, of course, you know, eventually we'll get wheat that we have to make into flour and then into bread and stuff. Not like that's super urgent with the amount of food we have, but nevertheless, you know, something to keep in mind. From a workforce perspective, we've got 2 unassigned, 10 assigned families. That's all fine. But what about the... what generic storage is supposedly full? I mean, everywhere we still have space, right? The granary's not full yet either. Is there some generic storage full and some production building? Like, I don't quite get it. I don't quite get the complaint here of the game, to be quite 100% honest with you. I'm really not sure what that's supposed to mean at the end of the day, because everything seems pretty fine to me, and I'm not really sure what goods should be exposed to weather damage here. Okay, so we do have things in the construction queue, first and foremost. I mean, we have the oven here, and we also actually have this right here, the stonecutter camp, because of course, if we do want to upgrade the church eventually, we will require stone, but we will also require clay. And maybe that is another thing for us to get in the building queue. I mean, first and foremost, well, you know, there's kind of just lots to take care of, where we don't really have the family to just the families to just assign to all these enterprises, but you know, we can surely play around a little bit with that also in the future. You can see here, you know, 9 months of food, 10 months of fuel, in fact. So, something to consider, albeit we only really have one family assigned to the Woodcutter's Lodge, so that fuel statistic's actually quite impressive. But, I would be interested in clay mining. Where would we be able to get that? Here, apparently. This up here ought to be a clay deposit. To be honest, I was looking at this thinking it was clay as well, but I guess these are just leaves on the ground, which you can spot if you go a little bit closer, I suppose. But here we have got clay. Seems like a very limited sort of clay deposit, I have to say. Yes, it very much is in comparison to some others. Holy moly, yeah. 3,600. So this will also be something to keep in mind, because I suppose that eventually we will want to be expanding a little bit. What I am wondering about, though, no, here. So there's some outlaws right there, and there's more outlaws right there. We do have lots of issues with theft in the region. So, you know, also part of course, why we want to progress as a village is because we do want... I have to put it on or beside. It seems like I have to put it on the deposit, right? But part of why we want to expand as a village is, of course, also to be able to set up an army to go and fight these lunatics. That shall definitely be the goal as well, eventually. Now, before that... Why does the end of this thing have to be so funky here? The end has to be straight, apparently. Oh, something like that, maybe. Boom. It's a little bit long to... Well, actually, it's not. It's fine. It's pretty fine. So that will also be on the list. I mean, don't really have much in mind in terms of priorities and stuff. I guess it's pretty fine. And we do also have this hitching post up here that we wanted to set up on top, because of course we would like more oxen eventually. Don't quite have the money for it yet, but it will definitely be a goal soon, because now with those upgraded homes, of course, we are also going to have some tax income. Well, not tax income, but regional wealth income. Because I guess there's also the treasury, so we'll have to mix and match between that and see what does what. But regional wealth, we need for another ox. I'm not going to schedule the upgrade yet, because to be honest, we can't even afford one ox yet. And I've also been considering to just upgrade more Burgage plots, but to be honest, I don't want to endanger our approval going down a little bit, because of course these people need more to be happy. So I'm a little wary of going too fast, because of course we need that approval to also get more people joining our village. And another thing to consider is also we probably want to keep building Burgage plots. Because we do have 2 empty homes at the moment, but... well, you know, with all this backlog and construction projects, by the time we get to the next one, may take a little while. So let me go and maybe... I'm not sure. This is supposed to be the marketplace. Here, maybe, you know, some administrative buildings and stuff could eventually be placed. Can I squeeze one in right here? Well, I could squeeze a small one in right there, but that wouldn't even have expansion possibilities, so I'm not too sure I really like that. Maybe one close by the forest here? Like this. Just a little bit random, you know? We don't want to make it all linear, you know? We're not building Washington, D.C. here. Kind of just going a little back and forth on that. People suffer from disease may stop working. Oh, no. That's an issue. I didn't know that even was a thing. Access to herbs might speed up their recovery, while a varied diet increases. Yeah. We only have berries, so there is that about the varied diet. Where do I see, you know, how many people are sick where? I mean, I see it in the house overview. That's not a very easy and comprehensive way to spot that, though, I suppose. Don't see it in the population overview, it appears. Public order, -10, lack of administrative buildings. Ah, so I guess I have to build my mansion thingy at some point, whatever that was called. I'm not sure I can even build that yet. When can I... Manor. Oh yeah. Well, we are playing Manor Lords after all, right? We do need stone for that, which makes sense. And also we get some first influence on that, which would be great. Eventually expand into different regions as well, if we would like to. So there's that. Something to keep in mind. And this settlers camp, which is apparently needed to claim new territory, does actually require the other type of wealth here, the treasury money. So there is that. Now, I mean, that's not an option just yet, so it is what it is. But I can't seem to find any spots up here where I could see how many people are sick, which is definitely a bit of an issue. Now, where would I be able to see... herbs? There. We don't have any herbs. How do I get my hands on herbs? It's not some sort of extra, like, herb garden or something, it appears. Is it like a production building? Where would it be at? Gathering, probably, right? How do you gather herbs? I wouldn't know, actually. It's not something I would have to... No, it's not something I would have to sow out on the fields. I mean, it wouldn't make much sense to me, to be honest, you know. I would think it's more of a thing of go into the forest and gather some herbs, you know. Which is why I would have thought, like, the gathering hut or something, but... that apparently cannot do that either, so... whoops. How do I... there we go. I mean... it's in commodities, which is where I would have all the production. You know, all these bits here. But I mean, that doesn't seem to offer any of that, right? Maybe it's further down the line when things level up even more? But I would think that I could at least see it here. I am really not sure. Oh, yes! Also, one thing to actually keep in mind is that due to the upgrade, we are now able to add other things than all the standard stuff. Yeah. To the Burgage plots. I wouldn't do it quite... well, actually... wait a second. This Boyer's Workshop does not actually cost us money. Same with the Butcher's Workshop. Well, we do... well, we do not have livestock yet. Sausages actually being quite interesting. Well, we also don't have much hunting going on, right? What? Oh, Joiner's Workshop also. I mean, this kind of stuff is actually quite interesting, right? Because we were just talking about it. Actually going somewhere with the army would be quite cool. Spears, sidearms, iron parts. And we do have the brewery extension as well, technically, which could be important then for the tavern. But nevertheless, I'm supposing that probably we also have some industry building. Actually, let me get the game going again. Sorry for that. We can still have progress ongoing with all the building, right? While we debate of how to best develop the village. Yeah, so we do have a malt house. What was the... how did it work? This is not quite as efficient as the actual thing, I believe, right? Or is it more efficient? Well, I think either way, this kind of makes it independent from the house, while the other thing kind of just specializes the family on a set thing, which, well, the latter is definitely an issue because we don't have that many families yet. So that's also probably an issue why we wouldn't want to upgrade straight away. That said, I mean, looking at the industrial buildings here, it seems like stuff like the Boyer's Workshop, for example, will definitely need these specialized buildings. So it's also probably a little guideline for me already that for those things where we would need those specializations, we maybe set this kind of stuff up. And for some other things like the brewery extension, just like for the bakery, we will just set up the appropriate industrial buildings. And then, of course, we do have the Tailor's Workshop here, which is also interesting, but that costs money, which we don't have at the moment. So, you know, not quite yet. I would go and make time run a little bit faster here, actually, because, you know, we want some more families. I think I do want to keep two families on assigned for the time being, so we can push some other topics forward. And, well, actually, 57 timber, holy moly. We do have a lot of timber. Do we need more? Technically we do, I suppose, because we keep building things. Our mining pit is already good to go. Intriguing. Okay. Maybe worth a thought if we can take one family away from somewhere else for the time being, such as the saw pit. I mean, the biggest issue, to be honest, is that they're not really getting any timber anyways, because we don't have enough oxen. And all the construction timber goes to construction for the time being, you know. So let me go and unassign these guys for the time being and assign them to the mining pit for a little bit. I don't want to go for too long, but I want to at least, you know, go until we have the 10 units of clay, shingles, whatever it may be. And actually, let me double check here. Ah. Enables the building to extract resources. Indefinitely placed over a rich... Okay, well, that's not a rich deposit. And the communal oven is ready to go. That one we will keep empty for the time being, because of course, I mean, we don't have anything to work with here. So once we do have crops in, that will change. And oh, look at that! You can see what the next harvest is going to be. That's actually super cool. That is lovely indeed. And speaking about the next harvest, actually, that just made me think of something, because the next harvest... Well, I'm not sure. I guess we're past the sowing season for it already. But we just had the topic, of course, with the ale, for which we will need barley. So either way, we will need to set up a barley field in order to go and get some barley in. Now, looking at this, I wonder, can I... get rid of paths. Remove road. Alt left click. King's Road cannot be removed. Okay. Well, that is a little bit of an issue, but we shall work around it. This doesn't mean we're under attack or something, right? Just like making me nervous a bit. Okay. So let's go for farming. And we do want to set up another field, and we want to make it a barley field. So, given this whole, well, these shenanigans here, I suppose we will kind of have to set it up in a little bit of a weird way like that. Which, well, I mean, 1.5 more is not too terrible, to be honest. I just hope it's enough, because at the end of the day, I mean, I'm assuming we'll have a lot of ale consumption eventually, and a lot of people, you know, wanting to drink ale, so not really sure how much we need to get through the year. But we do want to make it barley, and I guess we even have some nice backup opportunities, which is lovely. Have we set up like a crop rotation here? Yeah, I guess we have. Do I have anything? Okay, so these are just between flax and wheat. Hey, could I just... Yeah, well, that's not going to work well, is it? I think that's going to degrade, like, it's not going to stay that way, right? I don't think that would make sense. So we would have to go barley, wheat, barley, I believe. I'm not sure about this whole ordeal. Oh, new family. That's lovely. At least we can assign those very quickly with all the new facilities. But yeah, so this I'm not sure. I hope that maybe we can just do some late sowing in spring at the very least, and then have like a very small turnout, but a turnout in summer. So we shall see about that. And then I guess next year we will need a second field, just to make sure that we do get barley in for that year as well, and we can keep producing ale. Now here, we've got the stonecutter camp ready, so that's pretty much where I would send that new family right away anyways. Yeah. So that, you know, they can start taking care of that. And it does seem, yep, indeed, that our Burgage plot up here is completed, and I actually set it up wrongly because it does have an expansion space for living space, but it doesn't actually have the visualization expansion space. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is now, I suppose. I will schedule the expansion of the living space at least, because why not, I guess. Then we do have at least a little bit more room even, and it does seem like we completed yet another Burgage plot somewhere else wherever I set up the second one. Did I set up another one? I don't know, we went up to 16, so it's somewhere we will have found more living space. I don't know. But nevertheless, I mean, we have space now, we just need more families. Got space for 3 families, despite getting an extra one in, so we shall see. And, oh, this is lovely. As you can see up here, we also do have a little bit more regional wealth. So, we can get another oxen. Where's our first hitching post / stable? There it is. And we do have a dedicated family taking care of that, which is actually very nice. The second one won't be quite the case, but nevertheless, I'm kind of sure that the ox will still be very well, you know, distributed amongst people, so should be fine. And I think I will upgrade to a small stable as well now, just to already have another space for another ox. I mean, you can see they're so in use for the timber, like permanently. We can definitely make good use of them. I definitely don't want to forget about the saw pit now, because I think that already happened to us once, and definitely wasn't great at the end of the day. So, we do have stone already coming in, which is great. I wonder a little bit about the clay. Oh, we do have clay coming in, but we need to make it into roof tiles. Why, that is certainly not great. We do have enough clay, though, for the time being. Technically. How do we then make... Oh, yeah. A clay furnace. That makes sense. And we do need stone for that, too, so good thing that we have that already. I will set that up somewhat close, I think, to the clay mine. I mean, it makes sense in my mind at the end of the day to have that close by. And a little bit further away from the city centre, because I guess... Yeah, exactly. We also have something like Smill, you know, eventually, I suppose, that will at least become important to a degree. At the end of the day, it's still medieval times, so, you know, how much, who knows, but I guess... At least to some degree, it will become important. Now, we do have a new point for... Oh, policies. Wait. Were those a thing earlier? I guess. Yeah, but still locked in early access. So this is pretty much still the same as we were used to. But... we do have one more technology point. Question being, what do we do with it? Trades focus here, apparently. Passive income of goods. Intriguing. Armor making, which would be helmets, so it's a little bit more pushing the military, I suppose. And pushing, like, mining items. But there's honestly not much behind this. Well, yet. Because everything's still early access, I suppose. Trapping, which gives a passive income of meat. Doubles the maximum capacity of all sorry, what? Workers are able to cut holes in the ice of a fishing pond and use baited hook to catch. What? All year round fishing? I'm quite sure fishing is a new thing, right? Please let me know down below. I'd love to hear about that. I feel like that's new. I am honestly not quite sure what I want to do with this yet. So as before, we will save that for now and use it when we think we need it. But what was that about ponds and fishing? Are ponds a thing now? Are ponds a thing on my map without starting a new game? Or do you have to start over for that? I have a feeling you do need to start over for that, because I don't see a single pond. That said, we are in winter, so it may be frozen over. Let me know down below in the comments. We'd love to hear about that. Definitely new feature that I hadn't caught just yet. So very cool to see. And I still don't know what's supposedly up with a generic storage. Like, I'm not sure what generic storage is full. Pointing me to the granary, but it can't be, and pretty much everything else is fine in terms of generic storage, so I really don't know. If you do know what the game's complaining about, please, of course, let me know. Would love to hear. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even notice. There's snow on the ground again. It was gone, and now it's back. Cool. But, with that said, everyone, I would say, made some good progress here today. We are there for the stone, I believe. We just need to go and make some shingles, and then we can actually go and upgrade our church, which will be lovely, because that's the first step to making these people a little happier too. And then with the increasing approval, I think that will mean as well that we can start upgrading a few more Burgage plots. So, next episode, I'm quite sure we will tackle upgrading the church. First and foremost, it will also be sowing season, so we will go and sow some barley on these fields and hope that we at least get something at the end of the day from that. And with that, then also we will be setting up some sort of brewing building to go and get something going for the tavern supply. And then after all the tavern bits are covered, we will lastly also, of course, have a look at clothing. Maybe get some specializations on these Burgage plots. Make some more weapons. And hopefully eventually have an army potent enough to repel these foolish bandits at our gates. For today though, this has been it. I hope you all very much enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure to go ahead and smash that like button right down below for the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new around here and haven't done so just yet, also please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell icon right next to it, in order to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. And with all that out of the way, as usual everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.